Hey guys, this is Simon with TRADENPERFORM Coaching. So, there is someone in the room who loves to tell me, well, this is how it works for the market behaving right now. And so this is my reply, and I'm trying to do it in a way that won't upset them. But the way we do the zones and the support resistance areas work exactly the same when the market's going down as it does when the market's going up, with only slight adjustments, right? So, with that in mind, before I get started real quick, I have to flash this up on the screen, take a second to read it. I don't care whether you like it or not, I got to put it up there. So there it is. We'll leave it up for 5 seconds. You can lose your ass day trading futures. It's not easy. You have to have a great game plan and good execution, and that's that. So there we go. Okay, so first of all, what we're looking at here is coming into the end of the March, right? So let's go find the first down day in here. There, that's the first day it gets ugly, okay? And the way I would have had this done is the same way I do the zones every day, right? So I'm going to come in, and first I'm going to mark off. We'll just look at the initial of this push. This is going to be a boring video, by the way. You actually have to want to learn this, as opposed to, oh, it's 2 minutes and I'm going to give you some great secret to day trading, which I'm not, other than follow the process. That's the great secret, and we'll go from there. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to mark off my prior days, Globex lows and hourly's lows that are virgin. Okay, so I'm going to go with 8, and then we'll just do all of these. So first I'm going to come in, and we're going to look at the virgin levels, right? And I'll obviously, as I go through greater detail, I'll go in and add more, but this is already recaptured, so it's this and this. So this is the easy part, right? You just mark off prior days, Globex lows and RTH lows that have yet to be untested. And this is cool because we're going to go down, right? And you're going to get to test all of these. And on these, the best ones are when they get lost and recovered, but we can see how it generally acts, and that's what we were looking at from early March up here before it rolls over. So I like to cheat and just go see, well, what did it look like, right? So what I would have said in the room is, at each of these levels, these are going to be my key levels on NQ. We lose them or regain them and push back up, right? So we can just take a quick cheat look and go, okay, well, as you can see, this is the first level right here that I'm pointing out. Here I'm going to put an arrow. This is first level, we lose it, we regain it, and sure enough, we rally, right? And if you look through that, you can see that we don't regain any of these levels. Now, here would be an initial failure. Here would be the second regain, and it pushes, and here's the third regain, and it finally makes it all the way back up to 19,821, where it becomes a support resistance level, and eventually up to 20,268. So the first thing that this tells you is that these levels are important. When they're getting blown up, they become resistance on the backside test. Once they get regained and retraced, they become support for the way back up. And you can see how multiple times losing those levels and regaining those levels can be very, very important, right? So that's the first thing, right? Then I would have gone in just like I do in the room every day. So now we can kind of see how those levels would have held, right? Now I'm going to come over like this. So I'm assuming I'm coming in on this day here. So the first thing I'm going to say on this day, right, this is before the open, and I'm going to go, hey guys, let's draw out our support resistance levels and see where in prior sessions they were supported or they were resisted, right? So the first thing I'm going to do is go back and look to the left, and I'm going to say in a general way on this chart that the market had a hard time holding prior to breaking out, right? So I'm just, notice one of my principles. Just look at what the market is saying. And what the market to me is saying here is that through these couple of days, from the 12th all the way to the 19th, that the market had a hard time holding above 2112.50. That's in a general way. We'll mark that blue, and I'm going to say anytime we got to 2112.50, right? The market had a hard time holding. And then I'm going to go look for specifics within this. So in specifics within this, I would have marked off this area, and I would have said, so again, buyers attempted, buyers failed. Buyers attempted, buyers failed, buyers attempted, buyers failed. That holds to Adam's principle of 3 in a row. Buyers attempted, buyers failed, buyers attempted, buyers failed, and buyers attempted, buyers failed. Okay. So what that information tells me is where the sellers are. This is on a high time frame for what I trade, hourlies, right? So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and I'm going to mark this area off right here. From here, a little bit underneath, to up here. And I'm going to say in that area we should get responsive buying. But then I have a second level. And that goes from the very tippy top right here to over here. That's going to be my second level, right? And then over here, I'm going to say underneath 19,821 and a quarter, right? So remember, I'm just reading the tea leaves. Sellers attempted underneath, couldn't make it. Sellers attempted underneath, couldn't make it, right? So clearly at 19,722, so I can keep reference, change that to blue, and I'm going to go, oh, well, I probably want a zone there, right? Because buyers are trying underneath and they're failing. So in my notes, I'm going to write sellers had a hard time underneath 19,722. And then I'm going to have a minor area right here. See how sellers are trying in here and they're failing? So I'm going to put a minor area right in here, kind of like this. Okay. Now for those, what I'm going to say in those levels is if I get an algo in those levels on my 24 or 32 tick, that I want to be a buyer. Now I want to go scoot a little bit to the left and see if there's anything to my left that I need to be aware of below 19,600, right? So I'm looking, I'm just going to keep scrolling back here till we get back below 19,600. Where's my, just do this very slowly. There's our 2,000, there's our 19,600 neighborhood, right? So when I look over here, right, what I want to know, so remember I'm looking at this 19,600 neighborhood, and what I see when I look prior is I've got two areas of interest. The first thing I see is that there was not much interest in selling over here, so I've got to keep up with it mentally, right? Below here, anything below 19,53.75, sellers had a hard time maintaining it there, so I'm going to make that a zone. I just know underneath here sellers had a hard time, and then I know I had a swing low over here. See, so I can lay this out. And specifically, they had a really hard time underneath 19,450, so I'm going to put another zone here, right? Just like this. I can see that I have evidence, push down, push up. Then I'm going to go look back to the left one more time over here. What I want to see is how well this played out if I actually had done it on this day, right? And then I'm going to get down to nitty-gritty specifics between the 32 and the 24. So I'm coming in over here. And now I can see over here in this zone that we really had a hard time holding above this. See this? Buyers tried, they failed. Buyers tried, they failed. Buyers tried, they failed. And then they finally held and broke out. So I want a zone there, right? So I would put a zone. And we'll go see how this works out when we get a look. And then in addition now, I can see that I want to mark off my swing lows in here. So I'm going to copy and move this. And I have an untested prior day's low here. Globex prior day's low here. Globex low here. Globex low prior RTH low here, Globex low here. I can see that we pushed out of here twice, so I'm going to have this all highlighted. I'm going to have this highlighted. And then I'm going to see that they tried to push down over here. I have up, down, so I'm going to put a zone right in here like that. So now I can cheat, right? I can go to the end. And now let's go see first on the hourly what it looked like, and then let's go look on the 24 tick. So we get to our, oh, I didn't mean to do that. Let's go back to April. Too far back. Late March. February. Here we are on our breakdown day. So the first thing I see is I have my zone here, and my zone generally held. My next zone generally held. And they tried to hold this. This was well placed. We traded all the way through. I obviously did not get a response in this area, but I did start to get a response in this area. And again, I knew not to trade in here, which is a big deal because that's almost 100 points where losses were avoided. You see the next day we gapped down and we came out of support. We tried to hold the level. Then we finally broke and recaptured. So we can see in a general way, those zones really did help me. And you can see on zones, see how that got completely blown up, became resistance back up on top. And then we came back to the scene of the crime. They kind of stay in place. The market has a memory, right? So now we want to go back to this same date and see how we would have done if we were trading the algos on this. So we're going to go back to 326. And now I'm going to make my 32 and 24 very big. So I'm going to have 24 on 1. Because when the range is going to expand, I want to be on a 32. And I'm going to keep this hourly short over here. So this is on the... jumped all the way back, sorry. This one doesn't have enough days. Hold on a second. So we'll start with a 24 and just let this load. And as we do that, we'll bring this back to so here's that first big rollover that we had, and as you can see, it was quite tricky. So here's the opening of that day, right? So what I'm going to say in the room is I'm looking for green and white bars on the turn and all our normal algos, right? So we're going to pop in on this day. This day was a trend day down, and you're going to see this is a Friday. So let's go to the Friday. So here's 8:30 in the morning, and remember, we usually don't trade till the first at least 10 or 15 minutes are done. And the first thing I would have said is, well, we got underneath here, so this is now going to act as resistance. But then we would have a quandary because we'd say a level was lost and regained, right? So if you went with the lost and regained concept, your entries within here, assuming you're focused on the long side of this part, because we really haven't fallen apart, right? What I'm going to do is come in here and go, well, look, this is Globex low right here. We must be waiting for the other chart to finish out. There we go. So I'm going to say this is, I'm going to have a level right here. So we would adjust it a little bit. And what I'm going to say is I'm looking for the green bar up on the turn at Globex low, and what we ended up with is green bar stuffed at Globex low. It traps and it pushes all the way back up. If you're looking for the green bar on the turn, if I had the algo running, it would take this. Oh, excuse me. Impulse move. I would have said, well, hold on, let's get this straight. I would have said wait for the diamonds up on this move down. Diamonds up. I would have taken this green bar, probably this green bar for a stop. That's at 8:43. This green bar up, and I would have had to take the trap back in. Again, we all know the first half hour is a little bit more difficult. And then you can see there now that we've broken a second time. I would have said you had diamonds up here, diamonds down, diamonds up, and you had diamonds down. So this green bar was viable, but I would be getting nervous at this point with us below Globex low. But certainly once we get in here, we're not taking any other trades until we get into the zone, right? So I want to put this side by side with the 32. So there's the 32 tick. And if you look at that same price action off the 32, again, I would have definitely set off a Globex low. That bar up was valid. Again, you can see this is in the first 5 minutes, so none of us probably would have taken that. And if you took this 32, you got one bar up off of it. I would not have taken this at this point. It's just, you can see that it's going down, and it's right at 9 o'clock. There was clearly econ. Now see this sweep down? The first thing I'm going to say is wait till it gets to support, but also diamonds down and diamonds up, right? So there's your diamonds down. We're waiting for support. So this alone right here saves you 100 points in pain, right? So now you're getting into the zone, and you're going to see whether you use, this is the advantage of waiting for the diamonds up. This is an impulse move lower. And for my aggressive traders, myself, Tasia, a couple other guys, we might have either taken this or this. So this is the risk if you didn't recognize that there was a change in character. This is going to be the first down day in a bunch of big up days, which is why I'm reviewing it, right? Because when I say you've got to be sensitive to the market, especially Joyce, Jason, a couple of others, when I say you've got to be sensitive to a change in character, if you're watching the market move along like this after days and days and up, and all of a sudden you see this massive sprint to the downside where we just dropped basically 300 points from the high, right? Look where we opened. We're trading at 21,159 right here at 842, right? By 9:10, we're trading at 19,812, which is a 350 point drop, right? So that's the first thing. This date is 3/28. It's a Friday. Get it embedded. So two things are going to go through my mind that I'm going to say when I see this. Trends are difficult to reverse on a Friday, right? And you want to see diamonds down, diamonds up. Now, if you don't want to wait for the diamonds down and diamonds up, that's fine. But realize it makes your life much easier, right? So there's the diamonds up. Notice, if you waited for the diamonds up, right, your first green bar stops, and you've gotten underneath this zone. So remember, really you're coming off support here, right? So one stop, one win within the context of 300 points down, right? This is most likely, unless you took a quick scale on the 32, a stop. So there's no trade in here, right? Now that I've established underneath, I'm going to say, hey, I'm looking to trade above, and I really want an impulse move of 30, 40 points above this, and then a retrace, right? So now I'm waiting. I'm going to say in the room, I'm either waiting for a trap back above, right? Trap back above. So I'm waiting for that to either impulse move back above 21 or to come back down and give me the entry. I want my signal to come above 1821. So now I'm just sitting here waiting patiently. Okay, now I'm into the zone, right? No valid signal over here. I just get diamonds up over here. So if you took this, you're still on the aggressive spectrum right there. Even though it's green bar with blue square, you're still aggressive. Like, you can be sitting out relaxing here completely. Okay, same thing here, right? See how trades that normally would pay us are just giving us a difficult time in here. Green bar with red bar, white bar with red square. I probably would have gone fishing on that, but again, see how I'm trying to do this quickly when I do like this, and there's a reason for it. And the reason why is you're doing the same thing. You're having to make decisions quickly based on what's going on. So see here how we've gone supernova now. I'm waiting for diamonds down, but even in this environment, right? Green bar on the turn, quick scale. You haven't trapped anything yet, right? you can wait in these situations. Like I would go over this and over this till I had it. Now also keep in mind over here, we're dealing with the end of the day and we've been in true trend day down. Look at the fact that we're underneath the 200, right? We're underneath the 200 and we just haven't made any major moves to the upside all day. As a matter of fact, what I would have said here was, and this is from Mind Over Markets, is if we don't rally, or if we do rally over New York lunch, right? So if we do rally over New York lunch, you would look to short a trend day down for continuation lower. And all we would have done in this situation is, if you flip the storybook here, I rarely would endorse shorts, but in this case, I would be taking, once I saw that we got past New York lunch and we couldn't lift, I'm probably flipping and shorting in this particular situation, just with a very brief time frame on it. It's just, there's just no lift. You can see that there's no lift, and I'm not going to sit there and dead fish it, right? And as you see, as we come in on the next day, right, I'm going to leave these levels up. These levels are still valid, but you need a bit, what you're looking for is 100 or 200 point move up at this point before you're fishing this out. Right, you don't want to get killed trying to find the bottom. As a matter of fact, your shorts are working great here. This is a change in character. So if you're looking at this going, well, what's Simon trying to tell us? I'm trying to tell you this thing has changed, right? And what you'll see is even the best algos are going to struggle here, because the market, when the market turns after going straight up, there's a ton of supply and everybody has to get out. And what the clue there was that 300 point drop. If you'll recall from this month, we've had very few significant straight line drops where we haven't changed. So what I'm waiting here is I'm going, hey, I want a major level recaptured, right? I don't have that yet. Like when I look at this here, if we come back over here on this day, right? My Globex low would have been, this is roughly 830. This is my Globex low. And you need to train yourself on this right now. That's my Globex low. So when I look at this day, when I came in on Monday, the first thing I'm going to say is, in order for us to go up, I'm not worried about catching this bottom. If you want to catch that bottom, I'm all right with that. I don't want to get clobbered being wrong, because look at the number of stops I take. I've gone diamonds up, green bar. Okay, I survived that one. Green bar stop. Green bar paid. So, okay, in this case I'm wrong, but I still don't want to get clobbered on the way down. Now, diamonds up. So think of the rules. Diamonds up, diamonds down, green bar up. That's why I'm always pushing that. But now I want to trap. So what I would have said on this trap is, I've got to get back above this red line. And if I can get back above this red line, that's my first clue for a trap. And you can see they pushed down. I'll go into some more smaller nuances. Why am I covering this? Because this day is coming. We've gone straight up. This kind of day and couple of days is coming. We've gone straight up, right? So I want to know what the trap's going to look like when it finally turns, right? So come over here and look. And two things have occurred. First of all, this is the first move where we moved from 19,193 all the way up to 13,400. 200 point move, right? Now you may think, oh, I missed the bottom. Silliness. Let it make its move. Let it trap. 50, 60 back. Green bar, yellow dot up. If I look on the 32, I don't get the trade there. But I get the white bar, single bar stuffed, green bar up. Okay. Additionally, I want you to watch when I'm looking at this. Like I said, the first thing I want to see is that we get above this red line. That was Globex low. Now go look at your clues, right? We had 200 points up. Let them come back and be the seller, right? Where's the seller? Where's the seller? Where's the seller? The seller's here. White, neutral, white. We all know in the room that when that's in a 3-bar combo, pretty powerful. once you get above it. And green, white, white, that's going to be your support over here. Okay? So we're going to come in, green bar down, stuffed, green bar up onto 32. Now I can tell you, if I'm in the room and I get that green bar with the square onto 32, I'm going long. I'm just going to tell you, I'm long on that. Okay, if I take the stop, I take the stop. And there we go. Okay, I wasn't sure whether that was going to work. Why am I doing that? First of all, I've gotten an impulse move up. I've already got the 200 points up, right? Now I'm coming to my smaller algos, looking for the clues, right? Looking for the clues to the left and looking for that to get retested. Notice, instead of trading fast, I'm trying to trade slow here. And I may just be like, hey, I can't read it, so I'm not going to over trade it, but we're trapped now, right? Like I can tell you right now, I probably took a stop on this. On the 32, I probably took I took that long. I probably took a stop here. I would take this long. And now that I know that I'm trapped, I probably took a long on this screen and got stopped, and long on this screen. But if you do a quick evaluation on as to which bar you would have wanted to take, the red square with the blue dot and the green up is important. So the other thing you'll notice is when we go down, the zones by themselves, while they're important, if you just take them blindly in here, right, they're going to become difficult for you. So I want to go back for a second, right? See when we're free falling and we open up and you go, but we're in a zone, right? But we're in a zone. But see, just being in a zone isn't sufficient to get the trade to work when we have sell side pressure. So you're going to have to change your game in a down market a little bit. Okay, you're going to have to change your game. Now what you'll notice is two things, which Dan will point out right away, which is my white bar's stuffed and my green bar's down are paying just beautifully. But what you're going to notice that gets difficult as you come to the right is that the short squeeze gets pretty sharp to the upside. And I would prefer to wait to play this once we have these trapped sellers in here, because I can sit on the trade, right, if you watch this, and get these giant moves to the upside, right? So let me show you your entries. You got the Globex low there, right? So notice the entries that I'm working here. I'm going to go, okay, we've trapped back above. I've come back into my trapped area over here. On the 24, I'm going to take a stop, 1, but I'm going to get paid on 2. And that's going to be a significant extension, 23 to 69, right? Over here, remember I can use a 16-point stop here most of the time. So I'm going to enter here at 32 to 74. If I don't take a scale here, I'm going to get stopped, which I am, because I'm going to try and push that. And I'm going to take this trade again. And notice if you're pulling your stop up too quickly, you're going to get stopped out, right? Wait for the trap on sharp down markets. Globex lows, prior day's lows, prior hourly swing lows, right? So if I go to my chart over here on the hourly, this is where I'm trading, right? And so immediately, what I'm going to say outside of the Globex low over there is where my hourly trap is, where I last pushed away, is going to be right there at that 6 a.m. That's what I've got to recapture to go up. You see I've lost it? That's a good thing, right? See how I lost it there? It's a good thing. Now see how I've retrapped it right here? It's a good thing. And where should it go? Right to where they're having difficulty below. My target up is 19,440 roughly to 450, followed by 19,480, followed by the high of the day at 19,560, and finally the gap fill at 19,680. Okay? This formation here where we closed below on the hourly, and then when we captured it, you'll notice all the way down, right? There's very few places. Each time we captured, we pushed. Notice if we don't capture, recapture, it makes life very difficult. You can wait for these things, right? I'm doing this coaching session because it's important for the whole room. If you'll relax through this, my motto has become de-intensify, relax, wait for it to trap. You don't have to capture every move. It'll make you more money. So come back over here, right? So now look, now we're trapped, right? So now look, green bar up over here. Here, I'll make it bigger. We'll just go bar by bar. Green bar up on the turn. Green bar up. This is only 10 a.m. Green bar up. Now you can get more selective as to what type of green bar you want to take, right? White bar stuffed. Again, I'm not as big a fan as that on this one. I like the green bars up. But look at your moves. Okay, so wait a minute. Diamonds up. I'm drawing my 50-60 on this thing. No green bar up. Double green up over here. I don't like this all the way up here on the 32, and I probably would not take it. Blue square, green bar up. Again, on a retrace off the last swing low back here. I'm taking that. See how I need both charts to help me out? Choose the best of the best. Green bar on the turn on the 32. I don't get it on the 24. So again, I need both to help me out. Again, I get paid. It's just $11.20. You're making gobs of money. Again, green bar on the turn. You needed the whole bar here. Green bar on the turn. 16 ticks keeps you in on the 32. White bar up gets you paid. Nothing over here. White bar stuffed. Double white down, right? So that's going to become a support area for me. No algo off of it. It just turns and burns. That happens. C'est la vie. Green bar up after the pullback. Again, I would use 3 bars down as your deal there. And look, this. And so I want you to notice something else. Somebody. If you look at this picture, right, what happens to shorts is they go, oh, but it's a short market. Look how great the shorts are. Let's count how long the shorts worked. Day 1, right, which was an absolute ass kicking to the downside, right? Counter rally. Day 2, Friday. Day 3, Monday. Day 4. But really, Monday wasn't. You had 3 days of complete downside that all you had to do was manage your risk. You didn't have to short. I would have shorted at that point because it was clear, but I want to get shorts off the brain as quickly as possible. And if you can't flip your brain, just don't short. Wait for the longs, because look at what happens to you next. Just, if this is painful to watch, imagine how painful it is to short. That is from the trap of 19,351, a 400-point rally. And this is on a 32 tick. Imagine. Keep trying to short this. You're getting your ass completely handed to you because it took all the way till Tuesday. And even then, look, we're now at 19,895. And you're sitting there. And let me tell you, you may think you can handle it. But when the speed of this thing is so violent and so brutal on the way up. And remember, this market actually goes down again in April, later in April. Look how violent and brutal this is. Every single day for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Look at the size of these counter rotations, right? And you can say, well, yes, Simon, but it dropped from 19,908 all the way down to 19,530. Good luck catching that. You had to short it after the gap to the high in Asia, write it all the way down, right? And then if you tried to short it after 830, we went straight up on the trap of that level of that prior day's low at 19,593, and you are now down from the low almost 1,000 points on NQ, $20,000 a contract. Now, it obviously does roll back down again. And the other thing you'll notice from this is that those old support resistance levels where they were duking it out, see how they're working through those levels, especially the prior day's lows and highs, right? And around that, those are the areas. Like if I open this chart up, right, and I look at this chart, there's two things for me to learn from this. Number one, I need a trap, right? I need to trap somebody and regain, and that's on any time level. So when you look at this chart, the first thing you should say is, well, I haven't trapped anybody, right? Even when I go supernova here, right, the hourly low is way back over here. It just held a prior day's low is what it did. It went supernova, and you can see not that many algos showed up, and that was all at the close. I don't even need the hourly chart to figure it out, right? Watch. I need to lose a major level and regain it. Now this level here, this became an hourly low, right? I needed to regain it with an impulse move below, and I've already learned from the chart that impulse move should be 200 points up, not 100, 200. In this volatile market, I need 200 up to get we're probably reversing kind of move. Notice how this level got traded through very easily before, and it gets traded all the way through easily again here. Now, could have you made money here? You could have, right? But I would not want to contra through there until we get all the way to the bottom. And there's things that I'm missing because I'm going through this so quickly, right? Like what I want to take out is that 19098. Now look, where's my hourly trap? My hourly trap on this thing is way back over here. Well, curiously enough, right back at 19934. And you're going to see it rejects it to the tick, I bet. Right, so how else could have I traded this long? Well, there's a couple of ways. The first thing I'm going to say, when you're in here, and this is in Asia, wait for supernova, diamonds up, diamonds down. It just didn't give you the algo till, that's the only algo you got was at 1856, and obviously it paid you like a king, right? But it goes right to it and rejects it. Of course it does. Okay, so now you need an impulse move above that to trap, or it's going to roll back down. And look, it tried to trap. I would have said you're probably trapped again, and that would have been your long. Now it's failed. You've got to wait again. What am I going to say? Diamonds down, diamonds up, right? And supernova. So again, I just missed this level over here, and you can see once you get the momentum to the downside, your algos down work really nicely, but you got to be sure, and you cannot become religious about it because it's going to split you up again. So I'm going to stop for a second here. If we were looking at this day, this 4-3, as I was coming in, this is how I would redesign this chart. As I'm coming in on 4-3, right, I'm going to have a few different levels, so let's erase this. So I'm trying to do this from a coaching perspective as opposed to this is how I'm setting up the rim. So first of all, I would have said here, clearly, no duh, don't. This will probably make more sense once I do this. Here. Anything to the left. Nothing to the left. So I would have said the trap is there, and then I would have done this. This is, I just want to do it quick and dirty. This. Mine are here. And I don't have anything to the left there. So as we get in on this day, right, and then this would have been Globex low, so I would have marked off that Globex low and said, in lieu of anything else and not going back a bunch of days to find it, that would have been my chart set up over here, right? And so as you look at this now, what date did I mark this off on? So coming into 413. Oh wait, 413 or 43? 43. Okay, that's what that would have looked like. So we're coming into 43, right? I said, okay, here we are, everybody. And there's your trap levels, right? So the first thing I'm going to do is notice that big impulse move down, right? Market opens. I'm going to say give it the first 15 minutes. Just let it work, right? 9 o'clock. So you can see on the 32 ticks, the first thing you're going to notice is you're backing up against that zone, that resistance area, and they're trying to trap. This is the first potential area for a trap. And I would have said wait till 9 o'clock at this point. Econ at 9 o'clock. And there's your impulse move down. So I'm going to say we need a diamonds down, diamonds up, supernova, and then maybe algo. And I would rather wait for a support area of support or resistance. And there's Globex low down there. So if you look, the first thing you're going to see is you had to be mighty quick. You're not getting any algos on the 24 until after supernova. You're getting, and I would not have taken these, green, green. Why? Because I want to trap on something in a hard down market. I'm willing to miss. If anything, again, when we're down, and if I can adapt quickly enough, green down, white down. And I'm not encouraging anyone to short. I'm just saying when you have to adapt, if you can, and some people cannot, you adapt. You'll know if you can or can't. Look at your P&L, right? So now I'm getting this 19035, and what I'm going to say in the room is, let's see if we can break the 19035 or push and miss it. So the first thing I'm going to point out, right, is I'm going to go, oh, look, double white down, right? And I'm going to say that double white down, those guys are trapping themselves. I'm going to highlight that. Okay, I'll make it a different color so you can see it. Okay, I'm going to go, those guys are trapping themselves, right? So no algo out of it, right? Now we're underneath, and I'm going to say I don't want to dig underneath. I want to see it get back above and then give me a setup back above, right? So notice by saying that, I don't get stopped here and I don't get stopped here. I'm not catching a free fall, right? If this is boring to you, you probably don't belong in trading because you're going to get your ass kicked on a day like today when all you have to do is wait. Okay, I'm looking for what? The range is super wide. Look how much we're dealing with. I'm actually wanting to wait for 200 points up first before I do anything. I'm not desperate to catch a trade. I'm looking for my clues. Double white down, 3-bar, green, or white, white. So I get it right here, right? Notice I'm not getting it on the 24, but I'm getting it over here. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to go, I need to get above that. We'll color that blue so we know what that is. Okay. I'm looking. I finally get it over here. I need to get above that. See, I can map it without having to trade it, right? If I'll give myself permission to do that. So look, I'm not going to do anything here. I don't have to, right? I don't care. I need to get above. Ooh, now I have another double white. Okay, first time I'm above. I haven't missed anything. Yeah, I'm fine. I need the pullback now. I may get it, I may not. Back in, I don't get the algo. It's all right. We've just gone up 18,921 to 19,065. We're still not even 100 points up yet. We've gone to resistance. This is where I'm interested. I am probably taking this red bar, yellow dot, white bar. I don't know that I don't lose. I haven't looked to the right, but I'd be long right there at 19,035. I've got my scale off, and now I'm going to try to push that trade. I'm probably taking that green bar up on both the 24 or the 32. I'm referencing this and this. Why? I've now gotten 30 points above my trap zone, right? My Globex low. No algo for me to enter on. I can continue with my trailer. Notice from where I've entered, right, 19,035 to 19,145. 19,035 to 19,145. That's $2,000 a contract, guys. That's all you need. You can just shut shop. You don't have to catch the whole thing. We're now trapped. I'm looking for retraces. I'm also looking for clues on where they've gone down. So green, white, neutral, white. That whole zone is a support area. on both these charts. I'm looking for algo up. Don't get it. That's okay. I'll go along that green bar with the yellow dot, for better or for worse. Scale off. Leave the trailer. Get paid. I'm probably going along that 24 tick right there on the green bar yellow dot with the blue. Paid again. This is going to become my resistance up here. That's my resistance point. I need to get above it for continuation. Quadruple white down. Someone's pushing really hard here. Now I got to get above this. Remember, this is the principle of mind over markets. The latest data is the greatest data. I'm back above. I'm looking for a test down. Now notice, I'm not shorting any of this crap, right? I may have missed that. That's too bad, right? Hopefully I still have my trailer on from the original position, because we're now up from all the way over here at 1054, right? 19074 to 19188. Another 100 points in the bag. Getting to resistance at 19201. Again, looking for my double white, double green. Resistance now here. I'm going to stop coloring these off. And double white, green, white. That's my support right there. Long that white bar off the 24. Okay. Paid again. Resistance again. Long again. Stop this time. Can't be perfect, right? You're going to take losses. Nothing. I'm long that green bar with the yellow dot on the 24. Stopped again. I'll take the trap back in. Off we go. Why am I taking the trap back in? We're over the 200. The slant of the moving average on the 32 is up, right? I'm taking some stops, which is to be expected. 16 and 16, 32 points a stop. If I'm trading at 11 o'clock during lunch, but yeah, I'm going to have the algo taking it. I'm ready to go long again if it gives me the setup. Yellow dot by itself I won't take. I'm long the green bar with the yellow dot. And scaled. And paid. Long. If I came all out, I'm long that green bar with the yellow dot again. Stopped on balance. I've got nothing here, so I'd have to wait. And now I'd have to redraw and go back and reassess what we're doing here. But that, I didn't have to catch every sequence, right? I did not have to catch every sequence. I could just wait. I'm long that green bar. So see how I've come back into support over here? I'm retracing down. I'm long that green bar. And also by narrowing my choices, I know what to look for. I'm long that green bar with the blue square. Back up into resistance. I know where to target. We're trapping again on that 19035. We've broken again. Now I have to wait for a reset. And now I'm going to go back and look for my clues. It's the last hour. I'm leaving this thing alone, by the way. Last hour. And it looks like we go out on the low of the day. But that's all okay. Notice you had 4 opportunities to make 100 points plus, right? And then we would go and do the same thing again the next day. The same concept applies in ES. Okay, so I'm going to come back to this chart. And I'm going to go, okay. Erase my lines. If you don't think I don't practice this over the weekend and spend exactly this kind of time to get better, you're the one that's nuts, not me, because I'm going to get paid. I'll tell you that right now. Prior day's low. I'm just going to do this quick and dirty. I just want to do it one more day. Club X low. Right. Prior day's low. Club X low. Oh, this already got taken out. Current day's low. This already got taken out. And then zones. I'm leaving this zone over here. leaving this zone over here. 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 Then we come in on the next day. Obviously open drive lower. Wow, what do I do with this? Zone. Globex low. Looks like we opened right on Globex low. We'll just change that to pink so now it's Globex low. And then I'm going to add this right here once we're open, even though I don't have anything to contra off of it. And that's going to be my chart there for that day, right? So how would I handle that, right? So now I'm going to come over here and we're going to come back a little bit. So here's 8:30, right? And the first thing I'm going to say is, well, you got resistance right up there. You got resistance there at 43. We have to get above 68, right? I don't have much to work off of here, but I'm going to say we have to get above 68. You can see they're trying to get above 68. And I'm going to say open drive lower, diamonds down, diamonds up, plus supernova is the first thing I'm going to say to wait for. And I'm going to say also wait to take out something on the hourly or wait for support. Now, if you look within this, right, there's a couple questions you should be asking. So the first thing I'm going to say is let the first 30 minutes burn. Why are you going to jump in this fray when it's moving ultra fast? Secondly, plenty of opportunities have been setting up later in the morning. You don't have to be involved. So let's let it get past 9 o'clock first of all, right? So we let it get to 9 o'clock. There's the test in. You can see it rejected. You can clearly see the algos to the downside are working. And you should be saying a couple things to yourself here. I need a 200-point counter rally to really know that the bottom has been put in, right? Now, you can come and look and fine-tune and go, well, are these algos working? But the point is to kind of reduce your stress. Now, there's your trap point. Right there, the first thing you should be saying is, I need an impulse move back above 18.04075. You don't have to do jack here. You don't have to catch any of this free fall stuff. Nothing. Now there's an impulse move. 862 to 063. First thing I want to know when I do this is this. Where's my 50-60 back? This is how you make money in a down market, right? Secondly, where's my double whites, my double greens on the way down, right? So in this case, it's right here. I'm not going to mark these all fancy because it's taking me too long. Right there. That's where your sellers are. Over here, double whites. Right there. Double whites. Right there. Right there. That's the lay. Oh, and double whites right here. That's what the lay of the land looks like on the way down. You want to get over those guys. So now watch as it comes up. Okay, I need to. I'm looking for some kind of retrace, something like that, right? I'm not worried about missing this at all, at all. Okay, backside test in. I'm looking for a long here. Double white down. I'm long that green bar up right here on that 32 tick. I'm targeting 1870 to 18120, and I want to get it back above 18140.75. I've got my scale off, and I'm paid. Again, notice if you stuck just to the 24, you got nothing there. That's an engulfing bar unless you're Dan taking that. That's fine. Okay. You just ripped by waiting patiently till 9:56, 18.010 to 18.123. $2,000 a contract just by waiting patiently and letting it all set up. Now, the way to the right, I had all these bars. I really don't want back below that level. or this level. Okay, that's where my buyers came in. I'm going to change that so I can just keep track of it. And I'm looking for someone to defend out of there. Don't get the algo. When you come off a bottom like this and they give you a green bar down and they stuff it, that's usually bullish, just FYI. But I want to keep with the basic idea of get the algo and turn. Now I want to point out, you're now from your entry at 18,040 up almost $4,000 a contract. Double green. White bar off the double green, easy peasy. You're now up almost, where was our entry? $6,000 a contract. Don't see any double whites. You clearly want to be on the 32 here. Looking for an algo. I'm long that white bar up with a square. Stop, paid. I'm going to take that trap back in. Scaled off again. And this stuff is just so natural. I'm taking the white bar up. And now I've got double whites down. It's a new support zone. Super paid. Double whites. White, green, white, support. I need an algo there. I'd probably take this white bar off the 24. No algo. No algo. No algo. White bar stuffed, I probably gave that a shot. Or the green bar stuffed over. Oh no, it's one bar. Probably gave the white bar stuffed, and I probably got scaled and stopped. I may have gotten scaled and stopped. Stopped right here, and I probably took this trap back in. I know it's a support area. I probably had difficulty now right here, right? Just realistically looking at it. And again, I'm doing this fast, not slow. So I'm probably going to come back and take a little bit more detailed look now that it's come down. But I've been at this for a while now, obviously in the session. And now I'm looking for a new setup because we've impulse moved. I'm looking for supernova. Supernova again. And now I'm probably taking that green bar up off the 32. I've probably switched off the 24 to the 32 so I can manage my efforts more carefully. This is where you're going to start to get chopped up here in this 1052 stuff. And what we would do is we'd keep drawing and redrawing. For example, I'd say I want the trade-off of this guy here. But I would have said the same. No, not there. I would have said it here. Again, with this, double whites down, triple whites down. I want algos out of there. I would have taken that green bar, for example. And now I'll take an algo back out of that area if he'll give it to me. That green bar. See how I'm going to have to keep just moving it along to the right to get the latest information of what's going on. For example, I'm going to erase this stuff now because even the hourlies aren't giving me the information. Now it comes to this. I've got to get above this. This. Got pretty difficult there. This and this. No algo above it. You can see when it's strong, it gives the algo in it, not underneath. So this is probably fine. And then I would combine it with looking at the hourlies in real time. And you would tell in real time, I'd be tired by now. Like I've already made my money. But you can see how these are holding. And so we have the tools to update. We know where the buyers and sellers are. Right, guys? So like I would erase again. right? I'm going to erase again and go, I've got to get above these guys. I've got to get above these three guys. See how the mark, it's going to keep giving us new information to work off of. Okay, I probably get stopped on this because we got above, we came up. I'm probably going to try and take that. And what I'll say is if you want to wait for the supernova, obviously that's a no-brainer. So now we're in supernova. I'm taking that green bar along. You can see where I'd make my mistakes or get paid. So I'd get a scale and get stopped. I probably took this with the white bar stuffed coming into this, but now I know I'm stuck here. I got to get back above that. Okay, now I'm back above, and I'd like a retest right there. Take the green bar up. And now, yeah, so that's how I would work it out. I know I'm getting a little tired here. This is the first day I felt better. So that's the coaching session, guys. Go back and do this. Line up your hourly, your 32 tick, your 15 tick. Realize how fast this market's going, and realize that when the range expands and the VIX explodes, you can actually wait for the 200-point counter rally before you go to work and still make money. That is gold. Okay, it's not just a little bit of gold; it is golden. So, anyways, my name is Simon. If you want to, if you like information about the room, you can email me at TRADENPERFORM, TRADEN perform at gmail.com. Please, this coming week, and as we switch into August, be aware if you see a 300-point down move, wait for an impulse move up, guys, and be aware. Don't just keep clicking on the way down. It's been working because we're in a low volatility environment, and it's incumbent on you to recognize when the environment changes. And we'll have to switch off a little bit on how we read it, but the principles remain the same. The execution will change a little bit. Okay, guys.